The first Pro International Strongman contest of 2022 took place this past weekend in Brazil, Força Bruta, a small competition in terms of entry, in terms of athletes, and only 3 events, but a dominating performance by the Canadian Mr. JF Caron, who obviously is going to take a lot of positives from this going forwards to one of the biggest competitions of the year happening in just less than a month now, the Arnold Classic. Now, Auntie Liz, we knew JF was the on paper heavy favourite for this competition. Looking at the events, the only question was, is he going to turn up and go for it, or is he going to hold back knowing he's got the Arnolds in a few weeks' time? Yeah, and like you pointed out in the last video that we did, none of these 3 events really coincide with his training for the Arnold, so he hasn't really trained for this. If we quickly go through the events and what they had to do. First, it was a deadlift, and it was on, what would you call it? It's like a loadable machine. It's very similar to the machine they use at World's Strongest Man. If you've ever seen the World's Strongest Man contest where the barrels fall in, very much like that, but this time with people being added. Yeah, not falling in, unfortunately. No throwing them in. No. I kind of... I did laugh. I don't know if you guys want to watch it, you can do. There's a link down below. But the people waiting to kind of be added to the machine all had their weight written on their tops, which kind of made me laugh. I wouldn't be happy with that. Not at all. But yeah, so JF winning that event, he had to go first. Now, I spoke to Rauno afterwards, and he was like, they didn't go on time because Rauno went last on this event. So even though he went for the 5th rep, he didn't get it. I think he probably thought in his head, well, I've done 4 faster than Rob Kearney, but they ended up tying for points on that event. So was he not happy about that? Well, he didn't say in as many words, but you know Rauno. I know Rauno. But JF Caron going first actually hit 6 reps. And when you think he's up against Rauno and Rob, who are both big deadlifters. Yeah. I mean, Rob's pulled 440 kilos at his best. Rauno has been up at like 470. Yeah. To get 2 more reps than those guys shows that JF is he's strong right now. Yeah. He is looking big, strong, powerful, ready for a big season. I thought you were going to say sexy or something. Let's not go too far. Now, the second event, the Keg Toss, 10 of them. And they were like barrels. They were massive, weren't they? They had to do them sideways because they were too big. You know what I mean? You can't fit something that massive between your legs, can you? Especially when you're shorter. Yeah. Or when you've got really big legs. Yeah, big legs and being shorter, not so good, both for Rob and Rauno. Not the tallest athletes out there. Both of them managed, was it 5? Yeah, and Dimitri also from Russia. He did 5 too. As well. JF managed all 10. The weights, what were they? 16 to... I think it was 17 to 26 kilos. 26 kilos. Watching JF, it didn't look like he was going to get 10. He had to do the 4th one twice, the 6th or 7th one twice. Yeah, it wasn't a perfect run by any means, but obviously the power is there. And obviously wanted to put a show on for the crowd watching, which is good to see. Because he'd already won the event, hadn't he? Yeah, I think he went out last on that one, didn't he? He did, yeah. So, another pretty comfortable win for JF. I mean, after seeing him go ahead of the other guys, I did expect to see him, or I thought he might just hold back, but it was nice to see him keep throwing. The one good thing about a throwing event, and I say this to a lot of my clients if they have throwing in, we can do throwing multiple times a week. It's not one of those events that takes too much out of your central nervous system, so you can do it a lot, and he knows it's not going to kill him. 26 kilos, although you need to be explosive and you kind of put a lot of power into it, it's not like being under a 400 kilo squat. You're unlikely to get hurt with a 26 kilo weight. Yeah. You don't want it coming crashing down on your head. No, that would suck. I mean, I remember you throwing a keg and just about clearing your head. 26 kilos, I'd like to remind you. Was it really? It was 26 kilos, but I had to duck. And bend. It was like the Matrix. But another solid win. I mean, this competition, I'd like to say there was more of a battle going on, but it was a dominant performance from Jeff. So the last event was the truck pull. Now, who went first? It was I think Dimitri went first and then Rob Kearney second. Neither of them really budging it. And I thought, this looks like a tough one. And you did point out that None of the guys there are the best truck pullers.
No.
Is that fair to say?
I think that's fair to say.
If you're comparing to like a Brian Shaw or a Matthias or someone like that. But Rauno and JF did both complete the course. I was really worried about Rauno on this one. Now, he didn't say anything beforehand, but I think now it's done, it's okay to say. He re-injured his leg a couple of weeks ago, slipping on ice. I presume he was trying to protect the injured leg. He injured it in a different place. And a couple of weeks ago, he could barely walk. It's recovered quite quickly, so nothing serious. But I was a bit worried about the truck pull.
Well, he came second on the truck pull, which is pretty good considering. And JF took the win. Those were the only guys that completed it. To be fair, Rob and Dimitri barely budged it.
Yeah.
It did look heavy as well. If you watch it, it was a big, heavy truck.
It looked really hard to get going.
Yeah, no fast times or anything like that. So the final overall results, Auntie Liz, please.
JF won, perfect score of 12 points. Rauno and Rob had 7.5 points. Now, I'm guessing it's done based off of the last event win, who placed higher in that, because they had exactly the same points throughout. But Rauno came out on top. And then Dimitri, who we haven't seen compete at this level before, took 3 points.
There you go, first competition of the year done. The real thing for me is, this competition's always an interesting one. It's the first show of the year. The prize money is pretty good for it. You know, you look at, you can see why the guys wanted to do it. It's pretty good for 4 guys turning up. I think even last place, they get a decent payday.
Yeah, so, they do. And just 3 events.
Yeah, it's not the most taxing on the body. Yeah. If you follow the guys on social media, they look like they had an incredible time out there. The hospitality looked like it was amazing. But this was all about how Rob Kearney and JF Caron are looking for me, because they are obviously both going on to the Arnolds. That's the big talking point right now in terms of world competition. I know we've got Britons in between there for the British fans and athletes, but the Arnolds is what everyone's looking at. The Arnolds and Worlds, they're the 2 elite, highest level competitions that everyone wants to win. So for me, Jeff is looking good. You know, we expect him to do well on the static events anyway.
Yeah, of course.
There's a lot of question marks around some of the athletes. I know Martins has, been posting saying he's broken his back or something like that.
I don't think it. Well, yeah.
Maybe going for the Kurt Angle approach.
Yeah.
But
Tom hurt his shoulder a bit in training, but so he's okay.
There's going to be niggles and stuff like that, and it's why I was a little bit worried about seeing these guys compete. Both of them look to be fine. Both of them posted that they had a great time. JF did message me yesterday saying it was heavier than he was expecting, this competition.
Oh, okay.
It looked like a heavy deadlift, heavy truck pull. It really did. JF's looking really good. That's what I take from this competition. I think he's going in confident. I think he could be pushing for a podium place when it comes to the Arnolds, if he can stay fresh and
keep his head in it as well.
Yeah.
So if you would like to watch the competition, there's a link in the description below. And I don't know about you, but it's got me excited now. First competition done.
First competition done. Big competitions coming up. It's going to be an amazing season of Strongman. While you're here, guys, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of my awesome strength content.